Hi guys, welcome to a new video. In case you're new here, I want to welcome you. My name is Robin Shindelka and I'm a life coach specialized in helping people recover from mental and emotional difficulties such as anxiety, depression, DPDR, many other things. And a very, very big part of what I do has to do with trauma healing because our emotional challenges always stem from trauma. Negative emotions are basically our past trauma that is still living within us. That part is still not healed and not reprocessed in a different way. Therefore, we keep holding on to these negative emotions as a way to protect us. So today I wanted to focus on a very important aspect on healing from anxiety or depression or whatever it is you're going through, which is inner child healing. So before I'm going to give you some really practical, very well steps that you can do or exercise or practices you can do to actually do inner child healing, I quickly want to explain exactly what it means. You might have already heard of the term inner child healing, but still not sure exactly what it is. So therefore, I'll just take the time to briefly explain that. So as I said, our negative emotions stem from trauma, and trauma is something that has happened in our past that had a big impact on how we felt. So a very easy example I always give is, say you were bullied in school when you were younger, then what your brain does is it tries to protect you from pain. It tries to make you avoid feeling pain because pain is also linked with danger and lack of survival. So if you're in a situation that has given you pain or a lot of stress, then your brain will automatically save those experiences as something dangerous, something to avoid. Therefore, if you don't go back to, say, the time where you were bullied, to really reframe that and reframe how your body feels about that time, then anytime you'll be in a social circumstance, for example, you may get anxiety because that's your body telling you this is not safe, you should run from this situation. So it doesn't mean that social circumstances actually are unsafe. It just means that that's how it feels for you and for your body. So inner child work means that you go to that child that experienced the trauma and the experiences you had or went through in that time, and taking care of the version of you in that moment and really focus on making that child feel safe again, feel loved again. So that's basically what inner child healing means, and that's also how you heal from trauma, because if you can heal from the traumatic experiences and change the way your brain processes that event, you can also kind of heal all the lasting effects of that trauma, or start to heal at least. So what can you do to heal your inner child? I have two different types of things you can do. One is inner work, so very directly going within and doing the work with yourself, which is very important. And second is more practical, environmental things or outer things you can do. And both are incredibly important. So the first thing that is key that you need to do is feel to heal. You might have heard of the saying, and it's very important in healing whatever you're struggling with. If you feel an emotion like fear or like depression or like frustration or anger, you need to allow yourself to feel that emotion. Because if you suppress it, if you try to resist it, you are storing it back down and you're building up more stress in yourself, in your system. But if you allow the emotion to be felt in a constructive way, by crying if you're sad, by doing physical exercise if you're angry, by sitting and breathing if you're anxious, but allowing yourself to feel it, you are healing a part of that emotional experience. You are healing a part of that trauma. And also a lot of emotions that last from trauma come from not allowing the emotions to be felt in the time of the trauma, not feeling safe with the emotions that were felt. So that's why feel to heal is very important. Secondly, is to, whenever you feel an intense emotion that is therefore also probably linked to a traumatic experience. And by the way, trauma doesn't mean big trauma. It can also mean small trauma, like something small that happened that gave you some stress or some fear in that moment. It does not have to mean that you went through something horrible and that is your trauma. Just like a little side note. But as I was saying, is to, when you're feeling an emotion, to sit with it, close your eyes, ask yourself, where does this emotion come from? Like, from what part of my life, from what event could this cycle back to? Just kind of sit with it. See the emotion as a little child that's within you and ask yourself, what does that part of me need right now? So I have an example of this. The other day I was feeling quite anxious socially, not because I was in a social situation, but my social trauma can, for example, come from having experienced the emotion of being left out. So whenever I have a situation with friends, for example, where I feel left out or where I feel that there's even the slightest possibility of being left out, I experience a lot of sadness. So what I would do is I would just close my eyes, ask myself, like, what does that part of me need? Like, what did that part of me need when I was in that experience, when I was in that social circumstance? And what it needed is just to be told that it's good enough and to be told that it's appreciated and it's worthy of love. So I will just close my eyes, sit with it, and just tell it the things it needs to hear. So tell my inner child, tell myself that I am okay the way I am, that I am worthy, I am loved, that there's nothing wrong with me. And that really helps a lot. That is a very easy but very beautiful way of healing the inner child. The third thing is to meditate. Like what the example I just gave is more an inner child exercise you can do, but there's also meditations you can do that are very, very focused on doing inner child healing. And in my coaching, I do a lot of those, so I practice a lot of that. If people come to me for one-on-one coaching, that is something that I focus a lot on because it helped me a lot. I'm also going to plan on doing one soon on this channel, so if you want to see that appear, I would suggest to subscribe. It's probably going to be the one for next week. And there's specifically for DPDR and anxiety, I already have one that I will link in the description. It's a meditation with sound bowls in case you want to look it up. And that is an indirect way of also doing inner child healing, because your inner child basically is looking for safety. It's looking for a feeling like it's okay, like it's worthy, like it's safe, like nothing bad will happen, or like if something bad will happen, that it's still strong enough to take care of it. So that's where meditation can help, because it can really teach you to visualize things that will give you that emotion and that can really work on that inner child. So those were the inner healing tips. So like practical things you can do to really innerly go inward. That's a lot of inners, and do the work yourself. So practical things and environmental things that you can do. So first one, so this is basically tip number 4, is to talk to people that you feel safe around about your trauma, or just about the emotions you're experiencing in a moment. So for example, friends that you feel really good with. So friends you feel safe with, friends you feel have some emotional intelligence to just listen to you and just kind of be there for you if you're going through a difficult time. A lot of people tend to store up their emotions, not really talk about it with friends, but it's a really important thing to do, because it's a way of feeling, like, as I said, feel to heal. If you express how you feel, it's a way of really healing that. But also it's a way of making yourself feel safe with whatever you're feeling. So if you're alone in your room and you're trying to suppress the emotions, you don't feel safe feeling the things you're feeling. But if you're with friends and you can talk about it in a safe environment, that's a safe way for you and for your inner child to kind of just express what they're going through. B would be therapy. So the second thing in that specific tip would be for you to really go to therapy, talk to someone who's experienced in doing inner child healing, doing inner child work, helping you through this, making you feel safe again, making that inner child feel safe again. This specifically is something that I focus a lot on in my coaching. So if you're looking for someone and you feel comfortable with me, you can always schedule a free intake session to see if working together could be something for you. I do that specifically through, first of all, talking, but mostly to doing practical exercises and meditations to really go to the inner child, go back to the trauma and reframe how it's basically processed in your brain, in your body, so that you can feel safe again. So that is something I definitely recommend. Find a therapist or coach that is familiar with inner child healing, and that can help you through it a little bit. Tip number 5 is spend lots of time in nature. If you feel sad or anxious or angry, whatever, and you go to nature, it's like nature will almost in a way do the inner child healing for you sometimes. Not to the deepest core of it, but just to create an environment of peace and safety for you. It can be very good to try to be present in nature in whatever way it comes to you, because nature is so beautiful, it's so still, it's so peaceful, it's so energetic, and I don't think you can ever do anything wrong by going into nature. And for me, that was a very big factor in healing my inner child. It still is. Whenever I feel down, whenever I feel sad, I take my dog for a walk in the woods across the street, and it's just it doesn't trick every single time, so it really does help to just spend some time in nature. And the last thing, tip number 6, which is maybe my favorite, and it's something that you'll all enjoy me saying, is to really take time for play. So to schedule in time in your day for play. And with play, I don't mean you have to like buy Legos and play. Well, you can if that's something that you would still like to do. But things that you do just for fun, for creative expression, for letting go a little bit, just for being a child again and for just having fun. Because that inner child, as much as we would like to call us grown-ups, it's still within us. Like it still needs play, it still needs fun, it still needs attention and to be told that it's beautiful and that it's worthy. And things that I like to do for play are, for example, playing with my dog, something that I do, but also painting my nails, maybe like doing some artwork, or listening to fun podcasts that are not serious and that are just like fun and breezy, things like that. You can do so many different things. Even like playing sports that are more playful, like playing tennis or football, or just take time for play in your day. That's everything I wanted to talk about today. I hope this video gave you some information, some tools that you can start working with. As I said, in case you'd like to really dive into this deeper and work on healing your emotional struggles, always feel free to send me a message. I'll give you a link in the description as well for a free intake session. Please guys, remember that you deserve to be helped, that you deserve to be happy, you deserve to be at peace. There is nothing you need to earn in order to allow yourself to feel peaceful. You're very worthy, and I just wanted to tell you that. So I hope I see you in the next video, and yeah, I hope you have a good day.